We've all been there, right? You're in an argument, you've got the facts, the evidence is on your side, and the other person just won't budge. It's so frustrating. But what if I told you that's not just stubbornness? It's actually a deep, fundamental feature of how our brains are wired. So just picture it. You're in the middle of a heated discussion. You're passionate, you're making your points, and you are absolutely convinced you're right. You're in the zone. And then it happens. A tiny little crack forms in your perfect argument. Maybe they land a point you can't ignore, or you suddenly remember something that doesn't quite fit your narrative. You get that sinking feeling in your gut, that slow, dawning horror that you might actually be wrong.
Now, the logical thing to do would be to say, you know what? Good point. But what do most of us do instead? We double down. We argue even harder. Why? Why do our brains do that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
All right, let's peel back the first layer. And you'll see this has almost nothing to do with facts or logic. It's about something way more fundamental, our identity. You see, our beliefs about politics, religion, even things like which phone is better, they aren't just thoughts we have. Over time, they get tangled up with our sense of self. They become badges we wear that signal who we are and which tribe we belong to. So when someone comes at one of their core beliefs with a bunch of facts, your brain doesn't just calmly process the new information. Oh no, it hears an alarm. It feels a personal attack. It's a threat to you, and all of your psychological defenses immediately go up to protect your ego. So what happens in that moment when a fact crashes into one of those deeply held beliefs? Well, that's when our brain's internal alarm system starts blaring. It's a really uncomfortable feeling, and there's a specific name for it. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's that cringy internal static you feel when your actions and beliefs don't line up. You know, like when you believe in being healthy, but you just ate an entire pizza. That mental squirm, that's dissonance, and our brains are desperate to make it stop. In that moment of dissonance, your brain has two choices. Option 1, change your mind. This is hard. It's uncomfortable. It feels like admitting you were wrong. Option 2, justify your original belief. This is way easier. You just dismiss the new fact, question the source, or find some way to make it fit your worldview. Guess which path our brain usually takes? It takes the easy, ego-protecting way out almost every time. And this is where it gets really interesting. Our brain doesn't just passively pick the easy option. It actively goes to work to defend it. When our identity is threatened, our brain stops acting like a careful scientist searching for truth and turns into a high-powered defense attorney whose only job is to win the case. Think about it, right? A scientist is supposed to follow the evidence wherever it leads. But a lawyer? A lawyer starts with the conclusion, my client is innocent, and then goes out and finds all the evidence to prove it, ignoring anything that doesn't help. That's what our brain does for our beliefs. This is a well-known phenomenon called motivated reasoning. It's the engine behind confirmation bias. It's why we seek out news channels that tell us we're right, and why we surround ourselves with people who agree with us. We're not looking for the truth. We're looking for backup. Okay, but you're probably thinking, surely being smart or well-educated protects you from this, right? You think people with better analytical skills would be more objective. Well, here's the crazy twist. The research shows the exact opposite can be true. So, let's ask that question directly. Are people who are really good with numbers and logic better at seeing the truth, even when it's politically charged? Well, a team of researchers decided to put this to the test with a brilliant study. So what they did was give people a tricky math problem hidden in some data. For one group, the data was about whether a skin cream worked. Pretty neutral stuff. For the other group, the exact same data was presented as being about whether a ban on guns reduced crime, a very, very touchy subject. The results were just wild. With the skin cream problem, the people who were better at math were, you guessed it, much more likely to get the right answer. No surprise there. But when it came to the gun control problem, the people who were best at math were the most likely to get the answer wrong if the correct answer contradicted their political beliefs. They were the most polarized group of all. So let's be really clear about what this means. Being smarter didn't act as a shield against bias. It acted as a weapon. People with stronger math skills were just better at twisting the data, at finding sophisticated justifications to arrive at the conclusion they already wanted to believe. Their intelligence was used to protect their identity, not to find the truth. I know, this all sounds pretty depressing, doesn't it? If facts don't work and being smart can actually make things worse, is there any hope? Can people ever change their minds? The answer is yes, but probably not in the way you think.
It's definitely not about winning a debate. Trying to beat someone over the head with facts is like pushing against a locked door. It just makes them push back harder. Real change starts with something totally different: emotional safety. People have to feel heard, not attacked. It also requires trust. We're far more likely to listen to someone we know and respect. And finally, it takes patience. Beliefs don't change with one knockout fact. They erode slowly, with a steady drip of small doubts over a long period of time.
So, here's the big takeaway. We need to stop seeing this as a debate to be won. Changing a mind isn't a logical puzzle. It's a human journey. It's all tangled up with our identity, our emotions, and our deep-seated need to belong. And once you understand that, you can start having conversations that might actually go somewhere.
So that leaves just one last thought for all of us. We've talked a lot about other people, but we all do this. So what's that one belief you hold, the one that's part of your identity, that you defend so fiercely, that maybe, just maybe, might be worth a second look?